All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are putting together the ultimate science-backed blueprint for building lean, athletic muscle. We're going to cut through all the noise, all the confusion, and focus only on what the evidence tells us actually works. Let's build.
I mean, really, what if you could just get rid of all the guesswork? No more wondering if you're doing the right exercises, eating the right things. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. Give you a clear step-by-step system based entirely on real science.
So, where do we even start with all this? We start at the bottom, with the absolute foundation. There's one single rule that governs all muscle growth, and without it, nothing else we talk about today really matters.
And I'm not exaggerating here. If you miss this one foundational piece, everything else just becomes less effective. I mean, your nutrition could be perfect, you could be getting 8 hours of sleep every night, but without this core principle driving everything, you simply will not build the muscle you're working for.
And here it is, the big one, progressive overload. It sounds fancy, but it's a beautifully simple idea. See, your muscles are masters of adaptation. When you challenge them in the gym, you create tiny micro tears in the fibers. The magic happens when your body repairs those tears, building the muscle back just a little bit bigger and stronger so it can handle that stress next time. But here's the catch. They won't grow just because you show up. You have to give them a reason to grow. And that means constantly, consistently, making your workouts just a little bit harder over time. So how do we actually do that? Well, this is your playbook right here. The most obvious way, of course, is step 1. Just add more weight to the bar. Simple enough. Or you could aim for one more rep than you did last time. That's step 2. Or maybe add an extra set to your workout, which is step 3. You can even make things harder by perfecting your form, like in step 4, or cutting down your rest time in step 5. The key thing, the point you have to remember, is that you must always be asking more of your body than you did before.
Okay, so we have our guiding star, progressive overload. Now let's build the engine around it. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of how to structure your training for the absolute best results.
So, how often should you actually be hitting each muscle? The research on this is surprisingly clear. Twice a week seems to be the sweet spot for most people. Why? Well, it's because of something called muscle protein synthesis. Think of it like this. After you train, your body flips on a muscle-building switch. That switch stays on for about 48 hours. So by training each muscle group twice a week, you're basically keeping that muscle-building factory running at full steam all week long. Now, what about reps? This table breaks it down perfectly. If you look at that top row, strength, you'll see that the 3 to 6 rep range is fantastic for building raw power. For getting bigger, hypertrophy, as you see in the middle, that 6 to 15 rep range is your moneymaker. But here's the real insight, the thing most people miss. Honestly, any of these rep ranges will build muscle, as long as you are pushing yourself close to failure on every single set. Okay, so you're training hard, you're training smart. That's awesome, but all that amazing effort you put in at the gym is pretty much wasted without the right support systems. So it's time to bring in the fuel and repair crew, your nutrition and your recovery. Let's keep this as simple as possible. If you remember one single thing about nutrition for building muscle, make it this number. You should be aiming for somewhere between 1.6 and 2.2 grams of protein for every kilogram of your body weight every single day. Seriously, this is non-negotiable if you want to repair and build new muscle tissue. And calories? Well, it really depends on your goal. If you want to build muscle, you need to be in a small calorie surplus, just eating a little bit more than you burn. And if you're trying to lose fat while keeping that hard-earned muscle, you'll need a moderate deficit. We're not talking about crazy crash diets here, just a smart, small adjustment. You could have the most dialed-in training plan and the most perfect diet in the world, but it all comes crashing down without proper recovery. And your number one tool for that isn't a foam roller, isn't an ice bath, it's your bed. And this chart? Wow, it shows you exactly why sleep is just so critical. Look at that massive difference in hormone production. When you get a solid 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, that's the positive bar on the right, you maximize your body's production of testosterone and growth hormone. These are the key players in building muscle. But consistently get less than 6 hours, that negative bar on the left shows you can actually cause your body to break down muscle. It's that important. Okay, so we've got our training, our nutrition, and our recovery systems locked in. Now for the very top of the pyramid, tracking your progress and maybe using a few smart, science-backed boosts to really enhance your results. Look, the supplement industry is a jungle, just full of hype. But a few things have been proven by solid research over and over again. Creatine for strength, whey protein for a convenient protein boost, caffeine for performance, and omega-3s for recovery. That's pretty much the list. And on the other side of the coin, what should you avoid? Almost everything else, to be honest. Things like fat burners and detox teas are mostly ineffective marketing fluff. And steroids, well, that should go without saying. They're incredibly dangerous and harmful. Just stick to the science.
So how do you actually know for sure that you're making progress? You have to track it. Logging your workouts, taking your body measurements, snapping a few progress photos, this gives you cold, hard data. And this isn't about vanity, it's about knowing exactly how to apply progressive overload. I mean, how can you improve on last week's workout if you don't even remember what you did?
We have covered so much of the science. Now let's see how it all snaps together into a real, practical, weekly blueprint. This is where all that theory becomes action.
Here's what a really smart, balanced week might look like. You could have a couple days dedicated to just building that foundational strength for your upper and lower body. Then, you'd weave in a couple days for conditioning and power to make sure you're not just big, but also athletic. And finally, you'd have a day focused purely on hypertrophy to really maximize that muscle growth. It's a complete system that covers all the bases.
And as we wrap this all up, I want to leave you with this one powerful idea that brings us right back to the beginning. Remember that golden rule? It is the alpha and the omega of this whole thing. The moment you stop challenging your body, it simply stops adapting. Growth stops. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Take an honest look at your current routine, your nutrition, your recovery. After everything we've gone through, is your training truly built for growth?